and we're live. And Lori, you can see yourself there. It's you. And I'm going to let people know what's going on in just a second. You're watching on, and you're just over my ear. Now, let's see. Did it come through on your streams? Are you getting notified that your stream is live?
Yeah, I think I am, yeah.
Yeah. Look
There
at
we
that.
go. Look at that.
The magic of the internet.
Boom.
There's a voice you're hearing, and you're not seeing what you're hearing, and it may not make sense to you. But we're going to. They said they could hear me on the first camera. Can you hear me now? That doesn't make any sense. Like at all.
Like none.
Yeah.
Turn your
They said
microphone.
they could hear me on the first camera. Can you hear me now? That doesn't make any sense. Like at all. Okay, but that I hear it through TikTok now.
No.
And
Now, yep. Now it works. Yes. Yes.
I hear you. I hear you.
okay. Turn off camera one, and we lose audio. Isn't that just strange? Okay. I don't get it.
So let's switch seats.
Do you want me to slap?
Well, I'm just turning off camera 2, and I don't understand at all what
switch
or
seats.
why that's happening. It's never happened before. Okay. So why a camera is messing with our audio feed, I simply do not know. In any case, let's try this from the top, because let me turn that off because I don't need to hear myself while I'm here. I'm here. The delay doesn't make niceness.
No.
So yeah, thanks for bearing with us as we figured out. Well, we don't actually know what's up. You may have to slide forward to actually be heard. But okay, that's not disruptive at all. Doesn't change the flow at all.
No, ready? Take 2.
It's like a clean slate.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, my name is Sean Shapiro. This is Ask a Traffic Cop, and we're doing things a little differently because you may notice my twin brother here, who may sound a little different, but and has a different shade of shirt on. But Brian from New Zealand, Constable Brian.
Morning. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
We are happy to have you in the studio. It's been great. We're following your journey across Canada.
Thank you very much.
So where have you gone? And
Vancouver, Toronto, obviously, this week with my good friend the Coffee Cop, and there she is.
Here, where am I? There I am.
There you go. Yay. Yep. And off to Calgary next week.
Awesome. So you've been doing the tour, and it's great that you were able to stop by. I was so happy that you said yes when I said come by the studio.
No brainer.
Now, if you're watching and you're wondering what's going on, the folks who are on Instagram can sort of see my left ear and your right shoulder.
There we go. How's that? All right. Okay. Yeah.
That's okay.
There we
So
go.
what's the deal? The deal is if you want to ask us questions, if you want to chat with us, by all means, pop into the chat. If you're on TikTok, we're watching. But if you really want to make sure you're seen, then you can come into YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook. You can ask questions like this. We can put your stuff on the screen. I've been trying my best to try and get everybody's stuff on screen. It's overwhelming, and I have a guest. I have to focus on my guest today. So if you want to come over, that's the way to do it. Jump onto YouTube. You can use the scatter code in the top left-hand corner of the screen, or go to trafficcop.ca to bring you over to our socials and jump on in. So, what's that? I put it on screen, didn't read it. It says, Lisa, is it Liza, Lisa, or Lisa? Anyway, this magical viewer would like to know, or says, love this look, with you all on screen and having a casual conversation side by side. I like it too.
There you go.
I even like the wide angle, but the audio didn't work, and we had to abandon that. CJ just jumped in. Thanks, CJ. CJ, just a thought. If you put it into the main chat instead of the caption area, it might be better. Than doing the other. So we have lots of questions. The whole premise of the show is that people ask their traffic and police questions, but of course, hopefully they'll also ask questions about your adventures being a TV star.
Cool. No problem. Let's find out. Yep.
Well, so this is something that many of our viewers, being that the majority of our viewers aren't in New Zealand. Mind you are streaming in New Zealand right now.
Correct.
Is that what time is it in New Zealand? Is it
4 o'clock in the morning, Sean. And
So
it's,
lots of
wait,
people.
It's tomorrow.
We're time traveling.
Yeah, we are literally. Yeah.
So everyone should be awake, and maybe we'll get some questions
yeah.
from your viewers. But what was the big story? What's Brian and Bobby?
So Brian and Bobby is a kids' TV show that I did for 16 years in New Zealand, and it promotes safety for children, and it also promotes just good common safety messages, which sometimes a lot of adults don't actually know, Sean. I know that's going to sound strange, but they just don't.
It's amazing. I learned all about putting on a safety harness when going on a roller coaster.
There we go. It's always helpful.
Yeah. So you can get these episodes on social media. Go to YouTube and you can search it, because that's where I was watching it.
Yeah, you can. I think it's 53 episodes are up there now. We've still got about another, I think, 23 to go, and then that'll be all of the series, all of the episodes we've ever done. But yeah, they're all on YouTube.
I'm gonna binge watch them.
Oh. Good luck with that, sir. Yeah.
Well, and they're not terribly long, are they?
No, they're only 10.5 minutes long. It has to be that long for kids. So yeah.
Well, because we're on TikTok too, so we understand 10 minutes is actually the longest you can make a video.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Oh, we got Matthew Amos coming in from a pair channel. I don't know whose channel you're on, but hey everyone, hey Matthew. We've got a this is going to be interesting because traffic laws, I imagine, are similar but not the same.
No,
in New Zealand.
they could, could be a little bit different. You guys drive on the wrong side of the road.
I was going to say you drive on the wrong side.
Yeah, and as the coffee cop will tell you, the number of times I've gone in to hop into the driver's seat.
He keeps trying to get into my seat. I'm like, this is not the passenger seat.
Yeah, you were back to. Yeah, I'm not going to say we're back to front. I don't know.
Well, I drove in Australia, and I can tell you it took some getting used to.
Mm-hmm.
It was much easier being in a car sitting on the wrong side because you figure it out real quick if you get on the wrong side.
Mm-hmm.
Motorcycling, however, I rented a bike when I was in Cairns, and that was an adjustment because there's no reminder.
When I last drove in America, as the person at the rental car place said, if you keep the mayo the closest to the driver, you're pretty good. Sorry, the mustard. Yeah.
Are your fines expensive?
It depends on what you do. I'm guessing pretty much like you guys. The more the complex your problem is, shall we say, the more complex the fines could be.
Right on. Because we got a question here from Illusion. I got a ticket for speeding doing 123 and an 80. The ticket says I have to pay $323. Do I still lose points and get my license suspended? Yeah, it's not a pay or get in trouble. It's a pay and get in trouble. All the consequences, if stunt driving, because at 80 kilometers an hour, what were you doing? 43? No, you're doing, holy, what is this? You're doing 43 over? Is my math right? So that's not a suspension. That's not stunt driving unless the speed limit was under 80. So you shouldn't have been charged for stunt driving from my math, and you owe your dollar amount, and if you don't pay, you would get suspended based on not paying, and the points you got a whole bunch of points in that. Do you have a demerit point system?
Very similar, very similar. Yep. So yeah, fines, demerit points, and like you say, it's not one or the other. It's a bunch of issues.
Well, let's have a look because I've never done the math for specifically 43 over. 43 my sliding scale. So $323. You're right on the money. 4 demerit points. I love this app because I have a scale and it just tells me. It just takes all the guesswork out. But yeah, had you been doing just a few more, you would be looking at a 14-day impound of your vehicle, a 30-day suspension of your license, and that's roadside immediate. And then on conviction, you'd have a 1 to 3 year suspension, up to 6 months in jail, and then the $2,000 to $10,000 fine. So let's talk about that. You have what do they call them? There's a word I'm looking for that it's escaping me. But there's some laws about stunt driving and doing dangerous things. And
yeah, we have sustained loss of traction and those types of rules. So people doing burnouts and the same thing. Very, very similar to what yours sounds like.
Oh wow!
Yep.
But there's a word for not. I'm thinking that howly comes to mind, but there's some word that's being used in Australia to describe people who stunt drive.
Well, now here we go. See,
It's
so
not.
you've
It's not New
said
Zealand.
Australia, yeah. That's like me saying America to you, Sean. It's poles apart. So
Well,
you're
I
saying-
thought maybe there'd be a similar thing, but there's
you might.
It's a
Maybe
slang.
you're talking about a hoon.
Yes.
There you go.
Hoon laws.
Yeah. So
See,
yeah, there
there
you
we
go.
are.
Yeah, we got it. Yep. Yeah. So a hoon is somebody who drives sort of uncontrollably and is a bit of a hoon, I guess. Yeah.
So I wasn't that far
No,
off.
you weren't. No, you
I
weren't.
just couldn't remember what it was. And I heard that they can crush cars in Australia. Do they do that in New Zealand?
Yes. Yep. We can. Yeah. We used to do that. Yeah. We
Not you still do it, or you used to?
Yeah, on the odd occasion we do, but yeah, we'll crush the cars. Yeah, very often if somebody ends up getting into trouble, especially with a traffic unit, they will find their car gets impounded for 28 days.
28. Wow.
Yeah, so
Maybe we need to go to 28 days because apparently people, when they lose their car for 14 days, go back and take the car and drive again, even though they're suspended.
yeah, well,
It's not good.
no,
It's not good. But so there you go.
there you go. Thank you so much for answering.
Let's see here. Oh, we got. Oh, there you go. You're very welcome. Let's see here. Username. If I got a ticket, okay. This is probably the same anywhere, but if I get a ticket and the officer cites the wrong infraction, does it get thrown out? If it's totally incorrect, there's information that we call a fatal flaw. So if it's completely incorrect, then it's not going to. It doesn't work. Minor things you can ask them to change it in court. You can actually have it amended. And I imagine that's going to be the same thing for you guys because our systems are very similar.
Commonwealth country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You know, you go anywhere you go, it feels like home. Wrong button. So somebody wants to know. Oh, All right. Recently, there was a media.
Wow.
There was an article in the CBC about a podcast costing a lot of money in the TPSs. This is in the news, so I don't know the details of that, and we've been talking about it for the last couple of days briefly. And this is not that. This TikTok Live is an hour out of my day, and I'm a salaried employee, and there's no extra money being spent. And this is one of the many things that we do in discussing traffic safety, safety education, teaching people and engaging. But it's no different than if I would have gone to a barbecue or an event or been on a TV show. Or
Exactly.
we're media relations officers. We do that sort of thing. And I appear on radio shows, and you do the radio thing too.
I do. So I do public safety messages on the radio every Wednesday morning. So, yeah.
How do you like that? Is that they keep saying, I should retire and go be a radio guy. You ever want to go be a DJ now?
Oh, it's funny because people always tell me I have a face for radio. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I've heard the same thing,
Yeah,
but I don't listen. I still do the thing. Do police ever pull over drivers for going too slow on the highway? Well, we certainly do. Unsafe or unnecessary slow driving is something that we lay charges for. It's not. I don't think it's a common thing that we do, but it's certainly if they're a risk to other people. But do you find a lot of what we say left lane hoggers? Do you have right lane hoggers in New Zealand?
Sometimes, but then again, I mean, driving's all about consideration of other motorists as well. I think sometimes some people think that they should have a royal throne and just they should be the king of the road. And you have to remember that you have to be considerate to all drivers. So we have. I'm not going to say a large elderly population, but very often you get elderly drivers who have gone out to that right-hand lane. They get fearsome for where they are and what they're doing. So sometimes I think it's actually about being considerate sometimes as well.
Yeah, I like to say that we have an entitlement problem. That we have far too many people who think that they are A, very good drivers, and B, that their needs and their need to get to work on time is far more important than the safety of everyone else on the road. And
Exactly.
It's that for me, it's entitlement. But you're absolutely right. I often say roads are a community space.
That's it. It is, yep.
Some folks here who think that we should do useful work instead of writing tickets, as Toronto Police specifically. They weren't calling you out. But we see more death and destruction on the roads in Canada and in Ontario in particular than all other violent crime, at least historically. Now, sometimes we're ahead of the game, we're ahead of the homicide rate, sometimes we're behind, but very often they're very, very similar. So I'm always interested when people say that traffic safety isn't a thing and doesn't require policing, when we see so many people being hurt and so many families being affected.
And as we all know, what's the worst duty an officer can ever do? That fatal door knock and having to inform somebody that a loved one or a family member has passed away. So yeah,
It's those specifically traffic officers. We deal with generally more death than the average patrol officer because they may go to we go to those collisions where people are physically injured or have died as a result of that collision, and just horrific scenes. And I don't think that I think it's very easy to say traffic. We're just there to take the money from the ticket, but it's not about the money.
No, and Canada's landscape is very similar to New Zealand's, although yours is a little bit colder than ours, Sean. You have those huge rural spaces and that urban sprawl together as well. And sometimes when people get out into those rural spaces, hey, it's open space. Let's put my foot down. And again, just a little bit of consideration, a little bit of care makes the road safer for, as you'd said, the community space for everybody.
Yeah. I got a bunch of things, and thanks very much, CJ. We've got some questions that have come in through TikTok. So, hey, officer, I got a speeding ticket a year ago. I haven't got early resolution appointment yet. So COVID was a situation where there's tremendous delays in our court system. I imagine it's the same thing everywhere. I used to be a year. It could take up to a year. Now I think they said that at least 2 years are okay. They've extended things because it's created such an intense backlog. But if you haven't heard anything, reach out to the courts. We talked about this one. Oh, well, this will be interesting to know, and if you know the answer to the question. Is it illegal to drive with a ball hitch attached on your truck if you aren't actively towing something? So in here, it's not against the law. So if the ball is on and you don't have a trailer attached, it's perfectly legal, but your shins remind you that it's a bad idea.
Oh, yes, yep. No, perfect, exactly the same, yep.
Okay. It's so funny. Like, well, here's a question for you.
Hang on for a second. I'm just thinking, for you, it's your shins because you're quite a bit taller than me. For me, it's normally my knees, almost. So yeah.
Well, what are you saying?
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so we'll talk about the drifting in a second. You reminded me though, one of the things that I grew up thinking here, growing up in Ontario, was that driving barefoot was illegal, and it's not illegal here. But many people think it is. Is it illegal in New Zealand?
No, but again, you have to take great care. New Zealanders are very famous for their jandals or thongs. Do you guys call them thongs here? Flip-flops.
Flip-flops.
Flip-flops, yeah, sorry.
Thongs are a totally different
Yeah,
game.
yeah, I know.
different
As I said it, I was like, I know what they call thongs here. Yeah, yeah. So that it can be a problem because sometimes the flip-flop can get caught under the pedal. So again, it's about wearing sensible, safe footwear when you're driving.
And if you listen to, is it Jason Bourne, or there was one of the action movie characters, and they said you never wear footwear you can't run in.
Yeah,
And
like it.
I actually like that because we don't think about the fact that you might be involved in a collision. And if you're wearing flip-flops, if you're wearing something that doesn't protect your feet and there's broken glass or chemicals or something you have to walk through just to get out of the collision area safety, that's a real concern. We have, and then the other thing was interior lights on. That's another one that I grew up thinking you couldn't have your interior lights on. I became a police officer, learned that you can. But my mom and dad always said, turn those off or we're going to get pulled over.
Mine too.
Is that a thing?
No, I don't think it is. I couldn't be 100% sure, but I don't think it is.
I put out a video a couple of years ago, right when we started on TikTok, and that one of the videos about interior lights went bananas, and people were stitching it saying, "My mama lied to me," and it was a big thing.
So did mine.
But it does affect your night vision very badly if you are driving. So
Let's see here. We have. Where can I contact your guest for an autograph? I'm a big fan of Into Law Enforcement Officers. Biggest hero is John Walsh from America's Most Wanted. Thanks, Matthew.
wow, there you go. You can contact me at, let me think, go to www.bryan, BRYAN, and ANDBOBBY.co.nz, Matthew. If you drop me an email there or leave me a message, I'll send you an autograph. No problems.
He has my Facebook. He can message me on Facebook.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, very
That's cool.
good.
That'll work as well.
Michael says we've got some volley questions. I'll have a look. Thanks very much. What was this? Mint. Can you? This is a question we get a lot, and actually, this is really cool. Actually, not the question. I assumed the question was going a direction. It is going a different direction. Can you run a red light if the cops can't see you? I'm just wondering. I will never do it. If a tree falls in the forest, the fact is, if there's no camera and there's no police officer, will you get a ticket? Well, probably not. Someone could report you, and it could become part of a file that we, start, recording a mechanism or a pattern of behavior. But it's not necessarily something you'll get a ticket for. But does it matter? Because you might kill someone or you might get killed in the process. So running a red light is never okay, even if it's no one there, because what you don't see, you don't see. You don't know what's happening. But we have cameras, thankfully, in a lot of places. Do you have automated enforcement?
Lots and lots.
Really?
Yeah, lots and lots.
Red light and speed, or
Correct, red light and speed.
have you got any of the cell phone stuff? I'm hearing that's coming out in the UK.
It's coming, I believe, but I'm unsure.
I'm excited about that. I think that people will absolutely lose their minds when we have automated enforcement for cell phones, because it's an addiction. People can't put this thing down.
Oh, yes, yep.
They can't do it.
Leave it in the trunk.
Yeah, really, anywhere.
Yep.
Now, is it trunk or boot or?
That's boot, where I'm from. I'm speaking Canadian. It's like I made one ear with a thong and it's gone.
You're
So,
converted already.
Yeah.
Well, I spent some time in Australia, and I'm not saying that New Zealand is Australia, but I did get to learn a lot of slang because I was living with my cousin, and she didn't have chewing gum; she had Chewy.
Yep.
And it wasn't a sport utility vehicle; it was a sport ute.
Yep.
She never put on a sweater; it was only a jumper.
Yep. Or a hoodie.
Or a hoodie.
Yep.
What else? You didn't go to university; you went to uni.
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
What else was there? There's a whole bunch, and I had so much fun with it. But I kept using it when I was there.
That's like, if I need to bore the coffee cop because she's sick of hearing my stories, I start talking to her about cricket, and I can see her beginning to glaze over. It's even better when even better than her husband talking about
True
hockey.
story.
Yeah, it's true. Yep.
I got to go to a footy game. Do you have footy? Do you do the footy thing as well in New Zealand?
Now, which one are you talking?
Well, footy in Australia is like not. It's footy. It's not football and it's not soccer. It's their footy.
Is that it's like
Australian rules football?
Yeah, we call. So in New Zealand, we have a game called rugby, which is
we have rugby.
Yeah, it's God's game. In Australia, in Victoria particularly, they have what we call in New Zealand aerial ping pong. But I love the AFL, as they call it. Yeah, it's great.
I have the best question ever asked. Why good officers are bald? I think it's because we're so good at what we do. It attacks certain things. It comes at a cost, and our hair follicles just can't hold up to that kind of intensity.
As I tell all the kids around New Zealand, when I go to the hairdresser, I like to ask for the dye shade of invisible.
It's all there.
Can't you see? Look, can't you see? Yeah.
I will say this: I have saved so much money over the years. I just take care of. Yeah. Actually, this is my hippie look. I'm going. This is my shaggy. I need to shave my head.
It's almost like sitting next to Chewbacca.
Okay, here's a question. Actually, this is very interesting. Do you have e-bikes in New Zealand?
Yes, we do. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is why are e-bikes allowed to pull rather big trailers in a full lane? So first off, e-bikes, there are cargo e-bikes, and there are some now permissible large transport e-bikes. It's a strange thing. It's called a utility e-bike. Pulling large trailers is a phenomenon that's new to some delivery things. But let's talk about e-bikes in general, because this is something that I'm fascinated by. So in Ontario, e-bikes are legal if they have no more than 500 watts of power and go no more than 32 kilometers an hour, maximum speed on a flat surface. Are you aware of anything like that?
I've got to be honest, I'm thinking about it now. I don't think I've actually seen an e-motorbike in New Zealand while I've been on duty.
Really?
They've only just started creeping in, so yeah.
We have people that are converting things like crazy. We've seen electric bicycles. And now they look like motorcycles, but they're trying to cover themselves off as motorcycles, but doing 80 and 90 kilometers an hour on the highway.
Wow.
And they're absolutely illegal. They're motorcycles. There are electric. I've seen them now. Harley Davidson makes one. There's a couple of other. They're electric motorcycles, fully capable, but people put pedals on them and say, it's an e-bike.
Well, yeah. I do know a lot of hog riders who saw the first electric Harley Davidson and went, really? So it's all good.
Well, Ewan McGregor did his show where he did this, and they had a giant trailer with a diesel generator on it, and they would have it charge at night because certain places they were riding to had no capacity to charge the bikes fast enough.
I've got the best Ewan McGregor story. I'm going to disrupt you for a second.
Please.
So Ewan McGregor is in Tunisia where they filmed the very first Star Wars movie. And in the place that is Skywalker Ranch, there's a poster from episode 1 of Star Wars. And Ewan McGregor is obviously in that as he would say, Obi-Wan Kenobi. But he is standing beside the poster, and this tourist walks past him and says, "Would you like your photo taken with the poster, please?" So he says, "Yes, please." He has his photo taken with the poster, and the tourist walks off, completely oblivious.
It's amazing. Somebody randomly on TikTok yesterday, there was a pilot who has a channel. He says, "Have you ever met somebody famous but not known they were famous?" And that's perfect for the story you just told. But apparently he was in the airport and talking to a chap, and the guy wanted to know if he knew about jobs and getting someone hired because his son wants to be a pilot with Hawaiian Air or something like that. He was talking to Buzz Aldrin.
Wow.
And he didn't realize who it was.
Yep, there you go.
Wow.
Okay. Does it help to get a lawyer if you get a ticket, first ever ticket? That's an interesting situation. I don't know about giving the advice of, do you need a lawyer? If you're guilty, I say take your lumps. You did what you did. Pay your ticket, move on. Don't waste the money. Don't waste the time. But if you aren't guilty and you think you have a defense and you don't think you've got the ability to represent yourself, what's that line that everyone says? A lawyer who represents himself has a fool for a client. That's what they say in law. And in criminal, I would agree with that. But I think in most cases, you can talk to a crowd and discuss things and at least find out at a first appearance what the next steps are. And then if you need to get representation because you don't understand, then you can go do that. And there's something called a Defendant's Guide to Provincial Offenses. We actually have this big PDF guide of what to do in court and what you're allowed to do, and explains it all. And I imagine it's all based on the same legal system, so I imagine you have similar things.
Similar.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw that one. Yes, I love them, Liza. I love dad jokes. So my favourite dad jokes is...
It's funny they asked you that.
Yeah, stop it. Yeah. Go and watch YouTube. You'll just be... When you see the TV show, you'll just be like, oh my goodness. So a skeleton walks into a bar and says to the bartender, "I'll have a drink, please, and a mop and a bucket." Figure the rest out.
So my wife bought me this calendar. This was yesterday's. What do the toilets say to the other? You look a bit flushed.
Boom. That'll
And this one has historically not been the good jokes. We have a friend on the other side of the office who has a black and white calendar. Mine's in color, has moderately good jokes. She has a black and white one, has fantastic jokes. So I don't know. The one for today, the official dad joke of the day is: yesterday a clown held the door open for me. I thought it was a nice gesture.
Boom.
Or sorry, jester. I can't
Just,
even read it right.
Yep.
All right. This is an offensive comment.
I saw that. Yeah, Adam.
Oh,
Do your research, Adam. Do your research. That's all I'm saying. Yep.
He's not an Aussie, but you'd lived in Australia.
I did. I lived there for about 9 months. So when I was about 13.
Maybe it rubbed off on you.
Who knows? Yeah. I do get asked that question a lot when I'm here.
Well, people don't understand the
No,
difference.
it's fine. Yep.
So who is he? So let's remind everybody who's watching who we are and what we're doing. My name is Sean Shapiro. This is Ask a Traffic Cop, and you're not a traffic cop, but in particular, but you're a cop.
Just a regular cop.
And you've driven in traffic. And
I have. Yeah, I've done some.
have you ever
traffic duties.
done any traffic enforcement?
Lots.
See,
lots
so
and lots.
you're a traffic cop-ish.
Well, yeah. So, like we say in New Zealand, road safety is everybody's responsibility.
I love that. I say that all the time, and people hate me for it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I won't get hated on. Yeah.
But Brian Ward, known as Constable Brian, and your show was which is no longer in production but still available on YouTube, is the Brian and Bobby Show.
Yeah.
And I was watching episodes all morning, having a lot of fun, because we had Di. Di is the detective constable who made the traffic song.
Right.
So she was in the office. We were chatting about stuff and things, and we were watching your show. So check it out. Check it out on YouTube. You can totally get lost in fun with that with Bobby. Who came up with the idea of Bobby the German Shepherd?
I came up with the idea with.
Is he a German Shepherd?
Yeah, he's a German
Okay.
Shepherd. Well, he's a police dog in training.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah. And if Bobby was here, he would say this. Some people look at me and say, I'm a puppet, but that's just stupid adults because everybody who actually watches the show properly realizes I'm a puppy and not a puppet.
I love it.
Done.
Okay, we have Chase, who's left of.
Adam, you're fine. I just see he's put New Zealand's right beside, so no disrespect. Yeah. In actual fact, without at risk of offending all of Australia, we often refer to Australia and New Zealand as the West Island. All right.
The West Island. All right, let's see here. What do we got?
Oh, look.
Which one are you looking at?
Richards, New Zealand used to have an unusual left turn rule. Not anymore. It's changed. So you're all good if you come back, Richard. Okay. It's actually kind of changed back to what yours is. So we don't have that issue anymore. I know that was causing a lot of people from North America grief.
So what is the story?
So it used to be if you were crossing into an intersection, you were actually having to give way, whereas the traffic that was coming from your sort of left would not have the right of way, and now it does. It's changed, and
I'm thoroughly confused.
yeah, I knew you would be, but no, you won't be. So when you get there, it's exactly like Canada almost.
Okay. What do we have? Oh, here's a question about driving in the center lane. Do they have laws in New Zealand about driving in the center lane when you're not passing people? AU 543, and if so, do they enforce them? Because they certainly don't seem to do it in Canada. So the center lane, I'm not sure what we're talking about. Like,
No.
I think what they're talking about is the left lane, as opposed, which is closest to center. So the deal is that if we have what people refer to as the passing lane. So if you're not actively passing, you shouldn't be hanging out there.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. Again, for you, like you said, it was the left-hand lane. For us, it's all back to front. I'm trying to figure it out in my head. But yeah, no, we do. But again, it's just about consideration, and education is a lot more important sometimes than just sort of.
Let's see here.
Can the police reach in and take your keys or demand that you hand them over if they have a reason to believe you might drive away, like even on a motorcycle?
Do they have a? So here's the deal. If I've pulled someone over and I believe there's impairment or if there's a concern about flight, could I do it? Is it reasonable? I think I can articulate that in court. Is it written down specifically like, yes, officers have authority to do? It doesn't need to be specifically outlined, but we have to be able to articulate what we did and why we did it. I imagine same deal everywhere. There's a lot of leeway. Sorry.
No, you were good. You were good.
A lot of leeway in what we can do, because we can do what we need to do to get the job done as long as we're not breaking any specific rules or laws. And even then, it all comes down to what the judge decides at the end. Because it's a mushy subject. It flexes and goes. Let's see here. We got some other here. I'm actually from Thunder Bay, born and raised, but researched an extremely large amount of the globe. Okay.
All right.
He's a learned individual.
Is Thunder Bay where Terry Fox stopped? Or is
That
that
was
where
his
his
last
statue
stop,
is?
right?
Yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
there's a
bet
statue there.
Richard would know.
Yeah,
Where he
that's
put his foot in the water.
yeah. Let us know, Richard.
Yes. Jamie says, do they have laws in New Zealand about driving? Oh, that's the one we just did.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay. Here's a dad joke.
Here we go.
How do basketball players stay cool during games? They sit by their fans.
Oh, but on
Womp,
phone.
womp, womp.
Well done.
Okay. It's absolutely. I love some of the jokes that come from the audience are just fantastic. Okay. So,
I've got to say this, and I'm extremely biased here, but if you want some really good dad jokes, follow the Calgary Flames on Twitter during their interval periods. Their social media has some outstanding jokes.
really? CJ thinks that Terry Fox may have died in Thunder Bay.
Right. Okay.
Interesting. This is stuff I remember doing the Terry Fox run. I don't remember researching the life. Mind you, there's a lot of. We got the phone out.
I'm gonna check.
Now we got.
And there we go. Yep. Look
Get a
out.
proper answer.
Off the top of my head. Yep.
Okay. If you're watching and you have questions about New Zealand, because you're the tourist industry.
Yeah,
we're going to get tickets booked
Hello,
all over the
please
place.
come and visit. It's the most beautiful country in the world.
I thought we were not supposed to say that because we don't want people like.
Ah, that's all right. Yeah.
Everyone will just
Yeah.
rush down and
I have the answer.
what's the answer?
September 1st, after 143 days, 5,373 kilometers, Terry Fox was forced to stop running outside of Thunder Bay, Ontario.
There we go. Yep. So I thought it was.
And that's why the statue's there. He put his foot in the water, and there's a huge statue there with him.
And I was saying to Laurie yesterday, to give you some idea about that man's courage, I've got a book on Terry Fox. Where actually, if you hold the book up, you'll see a lemon and a golf ball. And the idea is that you hold it up to your chest, and those are the size of the tumours that were in his lungs, and he was still
Oh, my
running.
goodness.
So, yeah.
That's it truly.
There we go.
that's
Thanks,
a lot.
Richard.
Okay, here's a question. Is it okay to have blue headlights on your car? Not here.
Not here.
So white light and yellow light are permissible in Ontario. So basically, your fog lights and your regular driving lights. And some people have put lights that they claim are white lights, but they're so intense that they have a bluish tint. At a certain point, that color temperature isn't permitted. It changes the color to blue, and that's illegal. Safety. It's all about safety.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we have. Oh, apparently we're coming to visit. That's my
Oh,
wife.
hey, look, that's good.
That's my wife.
All right, good work. Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
I'm good for it. I'd love to go. And when I spent time in Australia, I wanted to do that extra trip, and it just didn't work out.
There you
but
go.
of course, now I've got someone to visit.
Boom.
Okay.
Could have a few issues getting in the studio there, but hey, look.
Is it a little smaller?
Yeah. About this big, Sean.
There you go.
Microphone.
Yeah.
We can make it work.
Yeah.
All right. If you're, well, let me get it on the screen so I don't have them moving. If you are tired to the point of being impaired, can you be charged or prevented from driving away? Well, you wouldn't be charged with impaired operation by drug or alcohol, but you could be impaired so much that it's unsafe to let you go. Yeah, we can't let someone, whether it be drugs, alcohol, if you're a danger to yourself or others, letting you drive away would not be something we do. There's impairment by drugs and alcohol, which is very clearly set, so you wouldn't have the same consequences of having the suspensions and whatnot, but we wouldn't let you drive home. How would you handle it there?
Pretty much the same. But if you're driving to the point of being impaired because you're that tired, do what basketball does and take a time out, get some rest, get yourself refreshed, revived, and then get on the road and get onto your journey.
And there's lots of safe places you can do that. I know in United States, Walmart invites people to park their RVs and rest in their parking lots. And there's rest stops everywhere that are well lit and have access to restrooms and security cameras and things like that. You don't want to pull off to the side of the road. That's dangerous because, oddly enough, impaired drivers drive into cars when they're on the side of the road. So pulling off the highway is really an important suggestion. And by the way, sorry for the Instagram folks. We've been ignoring you. But if you want to jump into the conversation, either well, preferably jump onto YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, or that's it. Because the other ones don't work as well with this interface. We have multiple things going, a lot going on here.
It's like the Space Center.
Or we're going to launch this.
Well, yeah.
We're launching.
Yep.
But Jake here says, have you ever done the haka dance? I love the power that comes from it.
Yes, I have a couple of times. I used to play Gaelic football, which is Irish football, which is the game Australian rules came from. That's why I'm not such a huge fan of Australian rules for New Zealand. Yes, so I've done the haka a couple of times.
What is this? They're having conversations amongst themselves. Lots of things going on in the chat on TikTok. And hello, TikTok. We're not ignoring you, but we've got CJ who's pulling questions out of the mix of conversation that's going on. And we are trying to get to as many of you as possible, but we're here right until 11, which is not that far away. Oh, we have CJ on two different instances. I don't know how that works. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. If I ever can, I'd like to go to Lake Taupo in the North Island of New Zealand.
Taupo.
Taupo?
Yeah, I was swimming there about 6 weeks ago. The lake was freezing, but beautiful part of the world, that's for sure.
Okay.
It's the hole in the North Island, you'll see. If you look at a map of New Zealand, there's a hole in the middle. That's Lake Taupo.
Right on.
It's a volcanic lake, and apparently the story goes that they've actually never found the bottom of the lake. It's that deep. Fresh water.
You would think they would figure out a way to like
I think
long
so.
string or something.
Yeah.
Put a rock.
Beautiful freshwater trout.
I'm hungry. Got a ticket in 2020. No court resolution yet, and would be 3 years soon. If the ticket gets paid for after 3 years, would it be on one's driving record? So, in Ontario, your points are after a conviction is registered. Your points come off 2 years after the date of the offense, while your conviction stays on for 3 years from the date of conviction. So if you're convicted, whether it be by paying it, well, at this point it's after court. If you pay it, it would start and go on your record for 3 years. Because that starts then. It's a weird thing that it's two different start dates, two different end dates, but that's how it works. What is this question? Matthew wants to know, what's your guest's name again, and what his websites again? Can you post it below?
Can he speak in English? Yeah.
I am going to put it on the screen for you.
Matthew, if you follow The Coffee Cop on Twitter and Facebook,
Lori McCann.
she'll tell you.
I'll send it to him.
But Sean's going to do it now for you anyway.
Yes.
It's all one word, Sean Toots. If you go back, AND, BOBBY. That's it.
Okay.
On just about every social media platform known to man, but not as many as Sean Shapiro's on. Yep.
You know what? Less is more.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. There you go. That's it.
Okay. What do we got here? Do light-duty trucks or cars require a CVOR if it's for commercial purposes? So it depends. It depends on what you're doing. I'm not a CVOR specialist. I don't want to give you bad information, but my understanding is at a certain weight, or if you register for a certain weight, despite what the vehicle actually is, you would require it at a certain point. I don't know it off the top of my head, so I'm going to leave it at that. There is information that you can get by going onto the Ministry of Transportation website under trucks and towing and commercial vehicles and lots of resources. I just I don't want to give you the wrong info. And Matthew says, thanks. What is this? Really slow? Haven't done one thing all day. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Well, listen, every day is a different day.
Yeah.
Try again tomorrow.
Exactly, yep.
Okay, here we go. Oh, this is a good one. At a traffic light that has two designated lanes to turn right, in your case, I guess left, can the lane farthest from the curb turn right on a red light?
I feel like I'm on the set of Inception. Everything sort of changes and then comes back again.
We need to rotate the camera.
Yeah.
So for us, if you have the curb lane, when you're in the right turn lane or in the curb lane at an intersection, you can make a right turn on red. Can you do right turns on reds in New Zealand?
No.
So they're not permitted at all.
So we have arrows. We'll have directional arrows.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have a red light, and maybe we have a directional arrow pointing left or right, obviously. And then if that light is green, then you can go. But
Okay.
otherwise, yeah.
So it's not as simple as come to a stop, and if it's safe to go, you can go. You must wait for direction controlled by a signal.
Yep.
That makes sense. And a lot of people want to bring that here because there's a tremendous amount of bad driving. Mm-hmm. I think that's the way to put it. We have people who don't even stop when making a right turn on red because they believe that they can go. They misinterpret the fact that you have to come to a complete stop prior to making a right turn. But that's not the question. The question is, can the lane next to the lane that is curb lane make the right turn on red? And the answer is it is. If it's a designated right turn lane, both can do it. They have to both be able, or either lane, whichever one you're in, you have to be able to come to a complete stop, and you can only proceed when it's safe to do so. And you have to go to the appropriate lane. So curb lane to curb lane, one over to one over. I don't know how to refer to it that way, but, you know. In Ontario, we have to watch out for deer and moose. What wildlife would be an issue in
there
New
you
Zealand?
go.
That's a fantastic question.
That is a good question.
Thank you.
It depends where you are, Betty. So let me think. It could be deer, it could be pigs, it could be sheep, it could be cows. And I was on the Chatham Islands recently. You can Google search where the Chatham Islands are. It's a very, very small place. Very often they have weka and pukeko there. And so, yeah, all of those things pretty much. But, yeah, we certainly don't have moose strike. I've shown people pictures of moose strike because New Zealanders don't really realise, I don't think, how large a moose is. We sort of see the cuddly toys in the stores, Elliot moose, and the loose, yeah, and think, and think, oh, wow, that's kind of cute. But, yeah, so, yeah, those are the things, I guess.
Awesome. My kids are concerned. They've been watching a lot of videos about different poisonous and dangerous animals worldwide. And Australia tends to have tons of them. Do you have a lot of poisonous and dangerous things? So you really are the better place, aren't you?
You know how I didn't say it though. I just
Saying it without saying
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Correction. Terry Fox was forced to stop running in Thunder Bay, but died in Winnipeg. Thank you, CJ. There you go.
All right, awesome. CJ is the controller, the wizard behind the mix.
I do know though, and Sean will be into this because I know he's a big Chips fan like I am, that Lee Majors once said to Terry Fox he was the $6 million man.
No kidding.
Yeah, you can't get better than that.
Did you see the post that I was tagged in?
I did see the post that you were tagged in.
I've
once had a Twitter from Mr. Estrada.
Really?
And I tell you the truth now, Sean, part of the reason I'm a police officer is because Eric Estrada visited my school to do a telethon in New Zealand.
Get out.
Yeah, there you go.
I can't. I could email it to myself and then put it on screen, but I'll just play it here and.
Hi there, it's Eric Estrada, Ponch from Chips. That's right. See Ponch and John behind me, the poster from '77, right there. Well, listen, I want to say thank you for your service. That's right. I want to give a shout out to Constable Sean Shapiro and Detective Constable Scott Matthews.
I think it was just awesome. So I got that. That was a Valentine's Day message
Nice.
that showed up. And Scott Matthews works downstairs in the CIB. Just so cool. I just met Eric Estrada and Larry Wilcox in Los Angeles for a reunion that he had. I had a chance to go down and meet. That was awesome.
What I'm trying to figure out is how I actually know about Chips. Because, like Eric said, he's a sheriff now as well, isn't he? He's a reserve
he's
sheriff.
gone through. He's still an active reserve. He deals apparently with crimes against children.
Okay.
He's actively involved in that, and it's fantastic. He's still supporting. But he's gone through, I think, 3 different agencies that he's volunteered with, I guess, depending on where he's lived. But he's got a badge in his wallet. We were chatting all about it.
Boom. What I'm trying to figure out, though, is how yourself, myself, and the coffee cop here can actually know about Chips. Because like Eric Estrada said, it was 77. I mean, we're only 26.
Yeah,
so,
it's true.
Maybe on DVD.
Reruns.
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
It came out in it was, I think it was 77 to 83 that it ran, and I grew up watching it. I used to come home, so lunch from school was grilled cheese sandwiches with ketchup, and that was my Chips experience, is sitting and watching it. And then in high school, my buddy and I used to come home for lunch and do the same thing. So it was different blocks of life watching the same things.
Nice.
And I'm still, I have the DVD box set, 6 seasons. It's just, when I traveled to go and actually meet them, I had ripped it onto my media server and downloaded them onto my phone, so I was watching it on the airplane. There's nothing like good TV where the cops are good guys who do good things, and the community appreciates, and it's all and everyone gets solved. And there was only one episode the entire series where a gun was drawn by a police officer.
So here's the question I always
day.
ask police officers whenever I meet new police officers. We get the chance to have a chat. What's the most realistic cop program on TV that you've seen?
Oh, I don't know.
I can go first. I say it's either Hill Street Blues or Third Watch.
Third Watch was amazing.
Yeah.
That was.
I forgot about that show too. They were both good.
Yeah,
I
they
tried to buy that as a DVD set, and it got held up for years because of the music rights.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I was a court officer when that was on the air, and we'd all go home and watch that, and all talk about it in the cell block the next day. It was a great show, and fire and ambulance was included, so it wasn't just a cop show.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very cool. I have to think about that if there's anything current on, because I watch Blue Bloods, quite like that.
Yeah, that was good. Blue Bloods, great show.
Yeah, I've been watching season 13. I'm still watching it. So as I'm reading that question, I lose my train of thought. But yeah, the deal is that it's a great show. It may not be absolutely factual in every element, but it was a great show.
Michael, love it. Thanks to Sean, I owe the DVD a set of chips, and I'm not even 30.
We're influencing. We're changing lives
Yeah.
here.
Bring it back. Bring
we're
it back.
truly
Yeah.
influencers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not the bad movie, the TV series. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You know what? Even speaking to the actors, I spoke to Bob Pine, to Larry, and to Eric, and asked about the movie, and most of them hadn't seen it
yeah.
because they were told don't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about America's Most Wanted? Matthew wants to know. America's Most Wanted. I watched that. That was
Yeah.
interesting, but that wasn't a police procedural. That was almost a news reenactment show.
Yeah, like a docu-series. Yeah.
I used to watch Cops.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad.
Cops was a great show. In fact, and Matthew says anything with John Walsh is good, but I was disappointed when they stopped doing it.
I know.
I even had a Cops T-shirt. It was great.
That was our wedding song when we walked down the aisle after.
Bad Boys from Chalk Circle.
We didn't ask for it; they just played it. But yes.
Okay. If I see an erratic driver, who do I call?
I've seen them live in concert in a circle. Fantastic show. by
Was
the
it
way.
Inner Circle?
Inner
What did I
Cir-
say? Chalk Circle? I
You
said it
know,
wrong.
Yeah, in a circle.
Inner Circle. I knew there was a
yeah.
circle.
Yeah.
Someone with a circle.
Yeah.
Something with- well, I can't say I listen to all their music. I like
Yeah,
that.
no, it's all good. Yeah. Yeah.
You saw them in concert?
Yeah, they were good. Very
What
good.
else do they sing?
That's the only song I know.
No, Sweat. They sang a song called Sweat. I'm just trying to think.
One Hit Wonder.
The games people play. There you go. There's three.
I'm gonna check it out now because I have Apple
Yeah,
Music.
me too.
But now I want to know: is Chalk Circle a different band? Where am I getting Chalk Circle from?
I've heard of that though.
Sounds like an ice cream.
Oh, Google.
Chalk
Hang
circle.
on.
Anyway.
If I see an erratic driver, who do I call? What gets done, and what does the driver get? And does the driver get contacted? So with the Toronto Police Service, you can actually make a report online. You can so if there's immediate risk to life, if there's major concerns that someone on the road could be in danger, whether it be you, the driver themselves, or others, like an impaired driver, that's a 911 call. That's police response. We are interested in hearing from you. That is a real reason to contact us. But if you're talking about something that just doesn't look safe, or you're unhappy with what you're seeing, and you think it should be reported and someone should get some correction, we have a website form at tps.ca, and you can go on and make the report, and our CIB will get assigned. Someone will reach out to the registered owner and explain what they were observed doing, and when they were observed doing, and the concerns about it. Do you have any online reporting? Is that a thing?
Yeah, no, we do. I'm just trying not to confuse your viewers, because if I say immediate danger to life and property, then ring 111, which is our emergency service number. If it's not urgent, or you think, you know what, I'll make a driving complaint, at star 555. So it'll confuse your viewers. So
I'm confused.
Yeah, I knew you would be. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we have our 911 emergency, which is in most regions the same everywhere, and then we have an non-emergency line, which is a specific full 7-digit telephone number for. Is it 7 digits? How many digits? 10 digits? How many digits is it now when you include? I don't count this stuff. 10. So I'm so used to growing up with 7. We always say 7. Anyway, the deal is that there's other ways to report. And then we have 311 if you're going to report things. And oddly enough, people don't realize that there is a 311. We had an issue with some street signs, and people went on Twitter and people went on social media and said, I can't believe they don't fix that. But no one actually called 311 to get it fixed. I did when I saw the video on TikTok. And a couple of people have come to, someone says go to work. I am at work, but thanks very much. Christopher says Rookie Blue is the best show.
I normally dress like this every morning.
Me too.
Well, you know what? It does cut down on the time wasted to decide what to wear. I prefer it. Just like my haircut. I have to think about whether I'm going to, which side I'm going to,
Perfect every time.
So Christopher says Rookie Blue is the best show or his favorite show. I like Rookie Blue. Rookie Blue is fun. And Rookie Blue, and it's done, right? Rookie Blue's off the air. We had one called Flashpoint that was in from Toronto specifically.
I did
With
pay
Hugh
duty
Dillon
for
from
that
the
one.
Headstones in it.
Really?
There you go.
Hugh Dillon.
Yeah. From the Headstones.
Yeah, but he's also now a producer and director.
Kingstown of...
Mayor of Kingstown.
There you go, yeah.
And he's in it
Yeah, he is.
as a cop again.
Yeah.
No kidding. I have not seen
Yeah,
that.
Mayor of Kingstown.
It's very
filmed
good.
in Kingston, Brantford, and Hamilton.
Yeah.
Good to know.
With Jeremy Renner. So maybe you won't be seeing another series for a couple of more months, but yeah.
Okay, what do we have here? Then we have Ghostbusters. I don't think that really qualifies as a police movie.
But I'd drive the Ecto One instead of my squad car if I got the chance.
I really, really enjoyed the Ghostbusters. And my kids have watched it. And we watched the first ones, and they didn't get spooked at all, but they watched the remake with the all-female Ghostbuster cast, and they were freaked out by the ghosts. They were not happy. And then we watched the newest one, not the new one, because I think there's a sequel to but the one with the kids. They really enjoyed that.
I think that was filmed in Canada as well, wasn't it? In Calgary, I believe.
Oh, it's possible.
I don't know.
I like The Rookie. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Yeah, the odd episode, but it's supposed to be really good.
I watched everything. My wife and I watch it, and it's great because he was an old fart who became a cop, and so was I.
I know, but he's not a rookie anymore. So
Yeah.
But they have a new rookie. But he's still trying new things. Now he's a coach officer. But he's the rookie coach officer, so he's still.
I mean, look, let's be honest. If his probationary period was going on for that long,
years.
yeah.
We have Darren who says live PD is great. Flashpoint was dramatic but fun. What else is this? We got
Well, here's
Chicago
a fun
PD.
fact. Flashpoint, if you look at the first couple of episodes of Flashpoint, it's actually reenactments of things that have happened in Toronto. Fun fact.
Yeah, there was a lot. And then there was the bridge. Did you ever see the bridge?
Yes.
It didn't last very long.
No.
When you on duty once when Flashpoint was being filmed, you told me.
Well, it was a paid duty, yes.
I think yes.
Yes.
When you and I first met, that was one of my first sort of. Have you been there? Because that was one of my sort of first, I guess, aspects of Toronto that I
Cool
knew
to watch
about.
it from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
How it's done, yes.
Here's a question that's actually about traffic.
Back to traffic.
Stop it. Yeah.
What is the punishment for distracted driving on a G2 license? So that's interesting.
Good question.
It's interesting because I have to look at how many points. I think it's only 3 demerit points. So let's go there. I think it's 3 demerit points, but I want to confirm it. It's 3 demerit points on the first conviction. So as a G2, as a novice driver, you actually get suspended faster than if you were a fully licensed driver. And if you're convicted of an offense that has 4 demerit points, you're instantly getting a 30-day. Well, I shouldn't say instantly. Upon conviction, you're getting a 30-day suspension for your first conviction, a 90-day for your third, and on the 30 days for the first, 90 days for the second. On your third conviction, you get kicked out of the graduated licensing program. Now I got it. But if you accumulate, I think it's 9 demerit points in total, you also get a suspension. So there's a bunch of different things that say it's heightened consequences for learners, and it should be. You haven't even earned the right to have a full license, and you're in here doing things that are dangerous.
It's kind of like us as officers. We're on probation, right? You have a year. You're on probation. Same with driving. You have to prove to us that you're a good driver.
Yeah.
And if you're not, you go back and start all over again.
If you're lucky enough to start over again,
Well, that's true.
You might just be looking for another job.
Yeah.
But the deal is that distracted driving does have serious consequences. 3 days on your first conviction, 7 on your second. But it's not. And if you look at stunt driving, they even have lifetime bans. Who knows? Maybe we'll need to go there to get people to put their phones down. It's a problem. What is this? It's almost 11 and I have a meeting. Stay safe and remember, don't have a good day, have a great day.
Boom.
And you got that 2-minute window to say that ahead of the game. You're very efficient, Akela. Akela's a regular viewer. All right. How long do permanent residents or new residents have to get an Ontario driver's license? In Saskatchewan, we allow 90 days, same here. So it's actually 60 days for someone who is new to Ontario. And this is odd. 60 days to apply for a license, 30 days to transfer your vehicle over.
Yeah.
So if you're already there, just do both. I don't understand why you wait an extra 30 days or why you have even the ability to. But hey, whatever. And there's a lot of confusion. And maybe you know about this. International driving permits. So if I come to New Zealand, can I come and drive as a Canadian?
It's probably better for everybody. And I say this when I come overseas as well. I've driven in both America and Canada. I get an international driving permit or an international driver's license for insurance purposes, just to make sure that you're just that little bit of
Covered.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely need it when we have people coming from countries where English or a Germanic alphabet isn't used, because we have no idea what we're looking at. It's like, here's a card. It could be your library card. I have no idea what this says. So that's where international driving permits really, really come in handy and are a requirement, because we just don't know what we're looking at. But if you are visiting Ontario, you have up to 3 months or 90 days to drive as a visitor. And if you are visiting beyond the 90 days, you need an international driver's permit to continue driving. And I think as a visitor, you can maintain that for up to a year. But the moment you are a resident, you have that 60-day clock starting. And we have people who drive for years. I mean, they pull up and here's my international driver's license, but their license plate is registered in Ontario. They own the vehicle. It's clearly that they're residents, but they're unlicensed. Yeah, oops is right. Richard says, have a good day. Oh, he's got to go drive the school bus. Chartered to a ski resort. Awesome. Well, it's been a lot of fun having you here. We've been hanging out for the hour. We've hit that time where it's time to say goodbye. But I wish you safe travels on your next stop. And we'll have to keep in touch.
Yeah, definitely. As we would say in New Zealand, harera, farewell.
You too. Take it easy. All right, we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Tune in and let's do it all over. Have a good one.